Hello everyone, welcome back to a new video. I'm going to record as many of the in-depth collection as I can, so there's some videos to go out whilst I'm away. There will obviously be one video up whilst I'm away, but I wanted to do these so you've got one for the next few days to watch. So I will say, I've just realised because I've packed some away to go with me, I may miss a few out. Apologies if I do miss some out. It's just you won't get to see them in depth, but yeah, you will see them next year when I do my Blu-ray collection again. So, and they were already probably in my older Blu-ray collections. Anyway, so without further ado, let's get started with the bees. So first up is a cheesy 90s sort of kind of disaster film, action, you know, like the cheesy ones that they did back in the 90s. It's Universal. Directed by Ron Howard, and it stars Kurt Russell, Billy Baldwin, and Robert De Niro. And that is Backdraft. I really like this. I watched it for the first time last year. Had a lot of fun with it. I mean, there aren't really very many fire films out there. This is the only one that comes to mind, so I would say this is my favourite one, but that is, as I say, because I haven't really seen any other fire films specifically like similar to this. So yeah, but I really enjoy this film. I think it's a really good time. The special effects are good for its time. This was 91, I believe, and it's got a, I can't read it, but I believe did come out in 1991. Yeah, 91, and it is getting a 4K release on Monday. So yeah, I might pick that up soon, but I haven't actually watched the disc version of this yet. So when I do that, then I may pick up the 4K when it comes down in price a little bit. But, yeah, Backdraft, let's read this back quickly. Kurt Russell and William Baldwin star as two feuding firefighter brothers who must set aside their personal differences in order to survive the burning, churning infernos set by a maniacal arsonist. That's Backdraft. Next up is a comedy that I believe I watched parts of it when it first came out, but I couldn't remember anything about it because it was so long ago and I was really young, and as I said, I only watched parts of it, but I watched it all the way through for the first time a few weeks ago and really liked it. Thought it was a really good comedy for what it was. Stars Cameron Diaz, Justin Timberlake, and Jason Segel, and that is Bad Teacher. Yeah, it's pretty funny. I believe that it spawned a television series after this as well, that obviously didn't do very well. But the film itself is really good. Has quite a bit of funny parts in it, and there's a lot of young actors whose faces you know because they're more famous nowadays. Like I don't, their names wouldn't be on the web, but I know their names anyway. Caitlin Dever plays one of the students, and Catherine Newton. Um, those names may mean nothing to you, but they're good actresses now, and they've done quite a lot more since this. In fact, this was probably both of their big first roles. But yeah, really enjoyed this film, really good. So it says, Elizabeth Halsey, played by Cameron Diaz, is a foul-mouthed, ruthless, and inappropriate teacher. She drinks, gets high, and can't wait to marry a meal ticket to get her out of her bogus day job. When she's dumped by her fiancé, she sets her sights on a rich, handsome substitute played by Justin Timberlake, while shrugging off the advances of the school gym teacher played by Jason Segel. The consequences of her wild and outrageous schemes give her students, co-workers, and even herself an education like no other. That is Bad Teacher. Next up is a trilogy set. These are really good films. Some of my favourite action films these are. Personally, I think the latest one, the third one, is the best. Some people would probably disagree with that, but I think it was just a lot stronger, and it didn't just focus on explosions as the first two did. That is Will Smith and Martin Lawrence in the Bad Boys collection. So this includes Bad Boys, Bad Boys 2, and Bad Boys for Life, which I think is the best one personally. Although they're all great films. So yeah, really like all three of these films. So I'm very happy to have them. I could have got them on 4K, but Blu-ray is good enough for me for these particular films. Some films are worth a 4K upgrade, but I've got all three in one, It's one small case, so saves 3 spaces if I wanted to get the 4K. But yeah, so let's read the synopsis for each. So the first one: Miami cops Will Smith and Martin Lawrence are two loose cannons who tear up the Sunshine State in search of stolen drugs. And then the second one: the action and comedy never stop when superstars Martin Lawrence and Will Smith reunite as out-of-control trash-talking buddy cops. Bullets fly, cars crash, and laughs explode as they pursue a whacked-out drug lord from the streets of Miami to the barrios of Cuba. And then the latest one, Bad Boys for Life. The original Bad Boys, Mike Lowrey, played by Will Smith, and Marcus Burnett, played by Martin Lawrence, are back. After a string of assassinations and an attempt on Mike's life, he convinces a hesitant Marcus to hold off retirement and partner one last time. That is the Bad Boys collection. Next up is a film I believe was one of my first Blu-ray films. I probably got it because I couldn't get it at the time on DVD, and the price wasn't much different on Blu-ray. But this really started me into getting Blu-rays. It's got a really good ensemble cast. A lot of people say it's very Tarantino-y. I agree. I think it's really good. Very gripping, very intense. It stars Jeff Bridges, Cynthia Erivo, Dakota Johnson, John Hamm, Kaylee Spaney, Lewis Pullman, and Chris Hemsworth. Directed by Drew Goddard. That is Bad Times at the Royale. Really good film. As I said, it has you on the edge of your seat. Very tense. The action, well, the violence, the blood, very Tarantino-y, esque, whatever. But yeah, I had a good time with this. It is rather long, much like Tarantino's films are. But yeah, really had a good time with this. 7 strangers, each with a secret to bury, meet at Lake Tahoe's El Royale, a rundown hotel with a dark past. Over the course of one fateful night, everyone will have a last shot at redemption before everything goes to hell. That is Bad Times at the El Royale. Next up is one I picked off of Music Magpie when I started really getting into it, probably around this time last year, collecting. It stars Paul Giamatti and Dustin Hoffman, and it's a pretty good film. I believe it is a Canadian film, but I enjoyed it. I got it for the two, because of the 2 names on the front, although Dustin Hoffman isn't in it that much, but I love Paul Giamatti, so I thought, why not give it a go? And I did have quite a lot of fun with it, and that is Barney's Version. Yeah, it's based on a true story. I'll read you what it's about in a minute. But I had a lot of fun with it. I thought Paul Giamatti was really good in the title role. When Dustin Hoffman was in it, he was good, and it had a good twist in it. So yeah, it is like a drama, but there are thriller elements to it towards the end. But yeah, I really enjoyed this. So let's read the synopsis. Barney's Version is the warm, wise, and witty story of Barney Panofsky, played by Paul Giamatti, a seemingly ordinary man who lives an extraordinary life. Barney's candid confessional spans 4 decades and 2 continents, and includes 3 wives, played by Rosamund Pike, Minnie Driver, and Rachel Lefebvre, 1 outrageous father, played by Dustin Hoffman, and a charmingly dissolute best friend, played by Scott Speedman. Barney's Version takes us through the many highs and a few too many lows of a long and colourful life, with an unlikely hero at its centre, the unforgettable Barney Panofsky. That is Barney's Version. Next up is probably my favourite DC film and my favourite Batman film. I'll just get shit, I won't do the cast. Batman, from 1989, starring Jack Nicholson, Michael Keaton, and Kim Basinger. I just think it's a fantastic Batman film. It is, as I say, my favourite Batman film. Just think it's really well done. I think portrayal of Batman's really good, and I think it's quite comic accurate from what I hear. I thought the Joker was excellent. Jack Nicholson, one of my favourite actors, was excellent. I think all the portrayals of the Joker, except for Jared Leto's Joker, have been fantastic. Like, the best that they could have been. They've all brought something different to the role. And they're all completely, as I said, they're all completely different, but I enjoy each portrayal of the Joker as much as each other, if that makes any sense. But yeah, for this one, I know I have read some synopsises for like James Bond or something. I'm not going to read the synopsis, because if you're watching this video, you probably, or you should, already know what Batman is about. So yeah, Batman, as I say, my favourite DC film. Um, One of my favourite comic book films, actually. Really, really love the first Batman. Unless that's surprisingly the only one of the originals I own at the moment, but I will get the others. But I'm waiting because I think I'm going to get them on 4K. Next up is one I haven't seen, an early CEX pickup for me. Stars Vanessa Hudgens and Alex Pettyfer. I think that's how you say his name. It's like a take on Beauty and the Beast. It's called Beastly. Don't really know much about it. I think it was probably about 50p, so I thought I'd pick it up and give it a go. Maybe decent. 17-year-old Kyle, played by Alex Pettyfer, is the spoiled, shallow, and incredibly popular prince of his high school kingdom. Kyle foolishly chooses Kendra, played by Mary Kate Olsen, a witch masquerading as a high school student, as his latest target for humiliation. In order to teach Kyle a lesson, Kendra transforms him into someone as unattractive on the outside as he is on the inside. Now he has 1 year to find someone to love him, or he will remain beastly forever. A quiet classmate he never noticed, named Lindy, played by Vanessa Hudgens, may be his best chance to prove that love is never ugly. That is Beastly. Right, so next up we have a childhood favourite. There are three. I've only got the second one. The other two are quite hard to find on Blu-ray, but I will get them eventually, even if I have to pay a bit for them, because I really do like them, and they are part of my childhood. Stars Martin Lawrence, and that is Big Mama's House 2. If you grow up with these, you'll love them. They are probably quite dated, I would say, for most people, but because I grew up with it, I still love it. And I think Martin Lawrence is quite a good comedic actor personally. I know he's done some bad films, but I really enjoy the Big Mama's House films. So yeah, in case you don't know what it's about. In the interest of national security, FBI agent Malcolm Turner, played by Martin Lawrence, goes back undercover as Big Mama, a slick-talking, slam-dunking southern granny with attitude to spare. Now this granny must play nanny to three demanding kids to complete his most outrageous assignment ever. And this features a very young Chloe Grace Moretz, probably one of her very first roles. Well, this was 2006. I believe her first role was the Emmetsville horror remake, and then I think it was this. Don't quote me on that, I might be wrong, but I believe this was probably her second or third role that she did. But yeah, really funny from what I remember. Big Mama's House 2. Next up is another great comedy film, one of my favourites, and as it says on the front, easily one of the best rom-coms of the decade, which I would definitely agree with. Based on a true story, and the main character plays himself. I don't know if he plays a version, I think it is himself. Stars Kumail Nanjiani, Zoe Kazan, Holly Hunter, and Ray Romano. Produced by Judd Apatow, who is one of my, well, no, I think he is my favourite comedic director, and that is The Big Sick, with a lovely slipcover. Really love this film. I think it is absolutely fantastic. Just really nice story, and because it's true, it's even better. It's not like one of those outrageous comedies. It's a true story, and it's a sweet romantic film. So the synopsis is: produced by comedy heavyweight Judd Apatow, The Big Sick is the hilarious and heart-rending true story of Pakistan-born aspiring comedian Kumail, played by himself, who connects with grad student Emily, played by Zoe Kazan, after one of his stand-up sets. What they thought would be just a one-night stand blossoms into the real thing, which complicates the life that is expected of Kumail by his traditional Muslim parents. When Emily is beset with a mystery illness, it forces Kumail to navigate the medical crisis with her parents, played by Holly Hunter and Ray Romano, who he's never met, while dealing with the emotional tug-of-war between his family and his heart. That is The Big Sick. Next up is one of my favourite films, probably the best film of the year it came out, which I believe was 2014 in America, 15 here. Absolutely fantastic, got a great cast as well. And I love this slip. I think it's HMV exclusive slip, and you get art cards in this one as well. I got it in a haul, so I didn't actually get it from HMV myself. But it stars Michael Keaton, Zach Galifianakis, Edward Norton, Andrew Riseborough, Amy Ryan, and Emma Stone. And that is Birdman, or The Unexpected Virtue of Ignorance. As I say, with this lovely slipcover, same artwork underneath. Absolutely love this film. I think it's fantastic, and the ending is one of the best endings of recent cinema, I would say, or in general ever. And I love endings like this where you don't quite know. It's left up to your imagination. And this is just a fantastic film that I cannot recommend enough. Determined to prove that he's a true artist, has-been movie superhero Regan Thompson, played by Michael Keaton, risks everything to finance a Broadway show. Now as he grapples with inner and outer critics, a deranged alter ego, his estranged daughter, played by Emma Stone, and a temperamental stage star played by Edward Norton, Thompson aims to soar above mediocrity. I believe, well, yeah, he did this, and then straight after he did Spotlight. So they're both they won Best Picture 2 years in a row, and he was part of it. I believe maybe he won Best Actor, maybe not, but still he deserved to if he didn't. And Spotlight again, which we're not talking about. These two films marked his resurgence in his career, and he's done fantastic films ever since. So yeah, that's Birdman, or The Unexpected Virtue of Ignorance. Next up is another one of my favourite films, starring Sandra Bullock, who won an Oscar for her role in the film, based on an extraordinary true story, and that is The Blind Side. What can you really say about The Blind Side? I mean, if you've not seen it, you must see it. It's an absolutely fantastic film, such a good true story, biopic. There isn't a synopsis on the back, but I can briefly explain. So it centres on this character, this man who's Michael, I think his name, Michael, and I think what's his last? Is it Oher or something? And his mother's basically, I think she's a druggie, and he's basically on his own, really. He's having to look after himself, and he wants to be a football player. And by chance he meets Sandra Bullock's character Leanne Tui, and they basically become a family, and she helps him achieve his dreams, and it is just a really good film, and cannot recommend it enough. Yeah, The Blind Side. Next up is one of my favourite comedies of all time, starring John Belushi and Dan Aykroyd, and that is The Blues Brothers. Absolutely fantastic film. The comedy in this is excellent. One of my favourite 80s films, came out obviously in 1980. Probably what John Belushi is remembered for. He is remembered for this mainly. That and Animal House, which I haven't seen yet. But absolutely fantastic film. I have seen the sequel, not great, but it's okay as sequels go. But this is just an absolute classic. So after the release of Jake Blues, played by John Belushi from prison, he and brother Elwood, played by Dan Aykroyd, go to visit the orphanage where they were raised by nuns. They learn that the church stopped its support and will sell the place unless the tax on the property is paid within 11 days. The brothers decide to raise the money by putting their blues band back together and staging a big gig. They may be on a mission from God, but they're making enemies everywhere they go. It also features performances by some of blues' finest, James Brown, Cab Calloway, Ray Charles, Aretha Franklin, and it co-stars John Candy, Carrie Fisher, Henry Gibson, and Steve Lawrence. That is The Blues Brothers. I think I'll only have time to do the Bees today, so the other ones will be back. So you'll have a video. I'm recording this on Thursday, so this should be on Friday, and then there won't be any more until I get back. But anyway, enough going on about that. Next up is a decent thriller, directed by Ridley Scott, starring Leonardo DiCaprio and Russell Crowe. That is Body of Lies. It's decent, not one of his best, but I thought it was pretty good for what it was. Quite slow, but I enjoyed it. I thought the acting was really good. So yeah. The CIA's hunt is on for the mastermind of a wave of global terrorist attacks. Roger Ferris, played by Leonardo DiCaprio, is the agency's man on the ground, scrambling to stay ahead of ever-shifting events. An eye in the sky, a satellite link, watches Ferris. At the other end of that real-time link is Ed Hoffman, played by Russell Crowe, strategizing events from thousands of miles away. And as Ferris nears the target, he discovers trust can be just as dangerous as it is necessary for survival. That is Body of Lies. Next up is probably one of my favourite music biopics, maybe the best that I've seen personally. Obviously about Queen, and that is Bohemian Rhapsody. If you haven't seen this, I urge you to watch this. It is absolutely fantastic. Obviously, some people prefer Rocket Man, but I like Queen more, so I like this more. And I thought the portrayal of Freddie Mercury by Rami Malek was fantastic. I don't think they could have got anyone better to portray him, personally. And it was just an absolutely fantastic film. So as I say, it's about Queen, their music, and their extraordinary lead singer, Freddie Mercury, played by Rami Malek, who defied stereotypes and convention to become one of the history's most beloved entertainers. Following Queen's meteoric rise, their revolutionary sound, and Freddie's solo career, the film also chronicles the band's reunion and one of the greatest performances in rock history, which was obviously at Live Aid. So, yeah, that is Bohemian Rhapsody. Next up is a comedy that I have quite a lot of fun with. Not for everyone, but I find it fun, and it's got a fantastic cast, which helps with my enjoyment of the film personally. It stars Diane Keaton, Jane Fonda, Candice Bergen, and Mary Steenburgen, amongst many others, and that is Book Club. As I say, I have a lot of fun with it. It is quite funny, but it isn't for everyone, and I can understand why it wouldn't be for everyone, but I personally have a lot of fun with it. Think it is quite funny, and if you give it a go, you never know, you may like it. So it's about 4 lifelong friends played by Diane Keaton, Jane Fonda, Candice Bergen, and Mary Steenburgen. Lives are turned upside down to hilarious ends when their book club attempts to shake things up by tackling the infamous 50 Shades of Grey. From discovering new romance to rekindling old flames, they inspire each other to make their next chapter the best chapter. Also starring Andy Garcia, Don Johnson, Craig T. Nelson, and Richard Dreyfuss. Really good film, Book Club. Next up is a film that I haven't seen yet. I will watch because I like the cast. From the director of Donnie Darko, starring Cameron Diaz, James Marsden, and Frank Langella. And that is The Box. Don't really know much about this. Let's read the synopsis. Press the button and get $1 million, but someone whom you don't know will die. This is the offer given to Norma and Arthur, an ordinary, decent couple played by Cameron Diaz and James Marsden, by the mysterious Arlington Stewart played by Frank Langella. The question, what would you do, will ring in your ears as you witness that their decision is just the beginning. The Box takes you on a tense, gripping, and totally unpredictable ride as the couple realise that they are part of something greater and far more terrifying than they could have ever imagined. That is The Box. Next up is another childhood favourite. I got off of Music Magpie really cheap. For some reason the cover doesn't look legit, but I'm pretty sure it is. From the people who brought you The Chronicles of Narnia, Bridge to Terabithia. Really fun film from what I remember, but it's been a very long time since I've watched it. But yeah, I remember really liking this. Jess Aarons is an outsider at school and even in his own family until he befriends a new girl at school, Leslie Burke. Leslie loves to tell stories of fantasy and magic. Jess loves to draw, and together they create the secret kingdom of Terabithia, a magical place that only they can escape to by swinging on an old rope over a stream in the woods near their homes. There their friends rule the kingdom, fight the Dark Master and his creatures, and plot against the school bullies. That's Bridge to Terabithia. We have 3 left, and then that'll be it. This one is a third in a trilogy. Haven't got the other 2, I will eventually, but I got this for 50p, so I thought, why not? And it came with a lovely slipcover as well. That's Bridget Jones' Baby. Really like these films. I love British comedy, and I think this is really good, really funny. 40-something and single again after breaking up with Mark Darcy, played by Colin Firth. Bridget decides to focus on her job and surround herself with old friends and new, Her love life takes a turn when she meets a dashing American named Jack, played by Patrick Dempsey, a suitor who is everything Mr. Darcy is not. In an unlikely twist, Bridget finds herself pregnant, but with one hitch: she can only be 50% sure of the identity of her baby's father. That is Bridget Jones' Baby. Next up is a thriller directed by Antoine Fuqua, who directed Training Day, and starring Richard Gere, Don Cheadle, Ethan Hawke, and Wesley Snipes. That is Brooklyn's Finest. Really good thriller. I really enjoyed this. Bit too long, bit slow in bits, but the acting in this is fantastic, and what happens in the end is really good, as it's interlinked each of the characters and their stories. But a burned out cop Eddie, played by Richard Gere, is just 1 week away from retirement, whilst drugs officer Sal, played by Ethan Hawke, is realising there's no line he won't cross to provide a better life for his family. Meanwhile, Clarence Tango Butler, played by Don Cheadle, has been undercover so long that he feels closer allegiance to infamous drug dealer Kaz, played by Wesley Snipes, than he does to the Force. All three cops find themselves hurtling towards the same crime scene on one fatal night in this tense, edge-of-your-seat thriller. That's Brooklyn's Finest. And the final one, which could be one of the best in this collection, is a film starring Jack Nicholson and Morgan Freeman. Possibly my favourite film from both of them. Just a lovely film that I would recommend to every single person, because it just makes you feel good afterwards. And that is The Bucket List. What a fantastic film. It's quite sad, but it's really good, really heartwarming story. Very touching, and I just really love this film. Corporate billionaire Edward Cole, played by Jack Nicholson, and working class mechanic Carter Chambers, played by Morgan Freeman, have little in common, or so it seems. At a crossroads in their lives, they share a hospital room and discover that surface differences and sheer contempt aside, they have a deep desire to experience the best life has to offer before they kick the bucket. They write a joint bucket list of and embark on the adventure of a lifetime. That's The Bucket List. So that is all my Bs. These videos seemingly are going to be similar in length, about half an hour, so you don't have to watch them all. If you have watched them all up to this point, I thank you very much. Obviously the big one's going to be S, which may have to be split into 2 parts yet, I don't know. But that is it for now. I haven't got any more space on my phone to record anymore, so I will wait now. Upload this one that you're watching now will be on Friday. The day I'm recording this, I will upload the A's, which I recorded yesterday. So you've got a video for today and tomorrow. If you choose to watch, you don't have to. But yeah, if you did like this video, don't forget to give it a like. But if for some reason you didn't enjoy this video, by all means give it a dislike and let me know in the comments down below what I can do to improve. Comment down below, have you seen any of these? Do you own any of these? Everything, let me know. Don't forget to subscribe if you would like to see more videos like this, and turn on your notification bell so you know when I have a new video uploaded on the channel. And that is everything. So thank you everyone for watching. Until next time, take care everyone. Goodbye.